welcome to our lesson for today. So today we're going to talk about David and what happened after God gave him his punishment. Because remember, last time we talked about how David had taken Bathsheba, who was Uriah's wife. And then after taking Uriah's wife, to cover this up, he killed Uriah. And this was so sad and this was so upset. So God sent Nathan to come and tell him what his punishment was going to be.
Yes, and his punishment was that their child that they were going to get with Bathsheba was going to die. So now the child that David and Bathsheba got, it was a boy and he died. And David was very, very sad that their son was now dead. And then
Afterwards,
later
him
on,
and Bathsheba had another son,
Yes.
and this son they named him Solomon. Yes. So now David had Solomon, but David also had many other children. Exactly,
because he had several
many other
wives.
wives. Exactly. So when all of these children started growing up, they began to have jealousy against each other, and they even began to have a rivalry because they all wanted to be the next king. Exactly.
Yes. So naturally, the firstborn son would inherit the father and become king.
Yes.
But the king also had the choice to choose who was going to be the next king. So because of that reason, there was a lot of rivalry in the family of David.
Yes. So David's first son was called Amnon. Now, Amnon cruelly and illy treated his sister, his half-sister, Tamar. And Tamar had a full brother whose name was Absalom.
Yes.
So after Amnon had Tamar, Absalom was very, very angry and very upset.
Yes, and he vowed to take revenge on his half-brother
Amnon. Yes. But when David heard about what Amnon had done to Tamar, he didn't do anything about it.
He didn't do anything. Remember, David was the king and he was the father to all these children. He was supposed to take authority and maybe punish Amnon for what he did, but he did not. He actually treated all his children very softly and did not discipline them enough,
And he did
should
not
have.
Exactly, meaning he did not punish Amnon. So when Absalom found out that David was not going to punish Amnon, he got even more upset.
He was more upset and he decided he was going to take action into his own hands.
Yes, he was going to take action against Amnon.
Yeah.
So Absalom decided that he was going to host an outdoor feast and he was going to invite Amnon to come for it.
Yes.
And when David heard about this, he was worried
He was
about letting
reluctant.
Amnon go. He didn't want to let Amnon go because he thought that something would happen. But eventually, he
David
agreed.
allowed Amnon to go to Absalom's party.
Yes.
And so all the princes went
to Absalom's feast.
Yes.
And when they got there, Absalom gave instructions to his servants.
Yes.
He said, make Amnon very drunk on wine, and then kill him. And in the middle of the party, when everyone was happy and the party was, underway, and Amnon
the party was happening, and then Absalom's servant actually fulfilled the order that Absalom had given them. And so they made Amnon very drunk and they killed him.
And once they killed him, there was panic and there was an uproar because all the other princes now started running away. They jumped on their donkeys and they ran away because they were so scared and they were terrified.
Yes.
Now back home where David was, a servant came and told him that Absalom has killed all of your sons. He has killed all of his sons. And David was terrified and he was very, very shocked. But eventually, someone who had actually been at the feast came and they told David, no, it's not all of your sons that are dead, but Absalom has killed your firstborn son, Amnon. And even the other princes came to tell David the exact same thing.
Yes. So even when after this man went and told David that all of your sons are dead, someone actually came and put things straight and told David, no, not all your sons are dead. Just one of your sons, who is Amnon, has been killed by Absalom. And David was sad. But then soon after, his other sons came and they actually told David everything that had happened in the party or in the feast. And David was very sad and he mourned for his son.
He was very, very sad because this was his firstborn son, his eldest son, and he loved him so much. And now he was dead and he was killed by his own half-brother.
Absalom.
Now, Absalom by this time had already made a plan, and he had run away back to Jesha, and Jesha is where his mom was born. So he ran away back to that land, so he ran away from Israel.
Yes, so he escaped so that his father could not punish him for killing his half-brother.
Exactly.
Yes. So from these children, we learned that we are not supposed to take action into our own hands. First of all, we are not even supposed to be jealous, because you see, God has given us our family. God has allowed us to be in families so that we can live in peace with our brothers and with our sisters. And God has allowed us to have parents so that they can direct us on what to do. So first of all, David was wrong by not correcting the wrong that Amnon had done. David, as a parent, would have taken action and disciplined Amnon. But so, because he did not, the brother was forced to take issues into his own hands, and that is how
he was so angry. So now
because he was
revenge.
angry, and that is why he took revenge. So first of all, our parents are there to discipline us to become better people in the society. So you should not get angry when you're disciplined. Instead, you should turn your ways and do what is right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Second of all, we're not supposed to be jealous of our siblings or anyone around us, because it wasn't even their decision on who became king next. It was God who was going to choose. So they should not have been jealous for each other.
Yes.
Therefore, we should not be jealous of our siblings or of anyone around us.
Yes.
And finally, we should not take revenge on anyone for anything that they have done, because it is not our place to take revenge, but it is God who is going to
revenge for us.
Exactly.
So now we are going to stand up and sing our song. So let's all stand up and sing this song. Okay, kids, so we've just talked about how David never punished his children. Even Amnon, after he had his half-sister Tamar, he was still soft on all of his children. And our parents are supposed to be tough on us, they're supposed to discipline us, and they're supposed to correct us so that we can do the right thing. So now we're going to sing a song that says, I want to do the right thing, I want to do the right thing, and I want to be more like Jesus, because I trust him and he always does the right thing. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. I'm gonna give you all of my life. I put my trust in you, Jesus, and you'll show me how to do right. I wanna do right, wanna do what's right. I'm gonna give you all of my life. I put my trust in you, Jesus, and you'll show me how to do right. Hey, hey, every word I say. Ooh, I wanna be like you. Oh my, every day goes by. I wanna be more like you. I wanna be more like you. Hey, hey, every word I say. Ooh, I wanna be like you. Oh my, every day goes by. I wanna be more like you. I wanna be more like you. I wanna do right, wanna do what's right. I'm gonna give you all of my life. I put my trust in you, Jesus, and you'll show me how to do right. Hey, hey, every word I say. Ooh, I wanna be like you. Oh my, every day goes by. I wanna be more like you. I wanna be more like you. I wanna be more like you. Yay!
Okay, kids, so it's time for us to do our craft. Now, we've just talked about how Absalom decided that he was going to host an outdoor feast so that he can take his revenge on Amnon, who had treated his sister very cruelly. So now we're going to create our own feast. And remember, we said other princes also came to join in on the feast. So what we need is our manila paper. Then we have cut manila paper into different shapes. We have triangles, we have circles, then we have a smaller rectangle. So now we're going to use all of these items to create our own feast we're going to create the table, and the people stood around it.
Yes.
And this is going to remind us that Absalom used this feast to take revenge. And we need to be very careful, because we're not supposed to take revenge on anyone for any reason. We should just leave it up to God, and God will always take care of it.
Yes.
Let's start. So we'll start with our triangles and our circles. So the triangles and the circles are to create people. So when you put the circle over the triangle, we have a person. We have a head and a body. So we're going to glue these together. So I have 4 pieces. You can cut out as many pieces of each of these things as you want. That will determine how many people you have around your table. But I have 4 pieces, and I'm just going to glue all of them together. Glue stick and put glue on the circle and put it on the triangle, and do that with all of your pieces. Okay, and I have all of my pieces glued together and stuck together. So now it actually does look like I have a couple of people who are going to be attending my feast. Okay, then the next thing we need to do is we need to label at least 2 of these people. We have to give all of them faces, and we'll color all of their outfits different colors.
Yeah.
But we have to label 2 of these people. The 2 most important people at that feast were Absalom and Amnon, because Absalom is the one who had made the plan, and Amnon was the target.
Yeah, Amnon was the target, yes.
So we're going to color each of our people. So I'm going to color Absalom, and I'm going to make his outfit red, because he was the one who came up with the plan. So color the clothes. Don't color the face, because we're actually going to draw a face. We're going to draw eyes and a nose and a mouth.
So that they look like actual people.
So they look like people. So I've colored Absalom red. I'm going to color Amnon blue, because he's the target. So Absalom is red because he made the plan, and Amnon is blue because he was the target of the plan. And even as you're coloring, you need to remember to think about this story, because David decided not to discipline any of his children, even after Amnon had acted so terribly towards Tamar.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why Absalom went ahead and got revenge. So it's important for us to listen when our parents correct us, and to not be angry about it or upset about it, but to take it in a nice way and to correct ourselves. So for the rest of my guests, I'm just going to color them green. You can keep them the same color, or you can decide everyone's going to be different. But for mine, I'm going to keep the rest of the guests green. This will represent the other princes who are also invited for this feast, this terrible feast.
The Feast of Revenge.
Yes, the Feast of Revenge. It's a terrible feast, because we should never ever take revenge. Okay, so I have all of my people colored. Now I'm going to take my pencil, and I'm going to draw faces on these people. So for Absalom, I'm just going to draw eyes and a nose and a mouth. And he's not happy. He's very angry, so he won't have a smile on his face. He'll be angry. So I'll just draw a straight line for his face. Then everyone else can be happy, because remember, the plan was to make Amnon drunk on wine and then to have the servants kill him. So he can be smiling, and so can the rest of the princes, because also they didn't know what was about to happen. They didn't know the terrible thing that was about to happen. So I'm going to make the rest of them smile. Just eyes, a nose, and a smile. Okay, so I think my characters are done. I have Absalom, I have Amnon, and then I have the rest of the princes represented. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to stick the table onto the original manila paper, because they were all seated around the table. So I'm gonna put my people aside, and I'm gonna take my table, place it in the center, and I'm just gonna put glue all over it and make sure it sticks. So put glue all over the table. And then just stick it to the center of your paper, so you have space to put all the guests around. Okay, so I have my table and I have my guests. So now my guests need to be seated at my table. So I'm going to start with Absalom because he's the one who invited everyone. So I'm going to put glue around the triangle. And then I'm gonna place him here on this first side because he wants to be at the head of the table. And then I'm going to put Amnon on the other side of the table because he was the guest of honor. And I'm gonna stick him here to this side. And then I'm gonna put the rest of my princes now on the other side of my table. Just at the top over here. So one prince and the second prince. And however many other princes that there were. Okay, so now I have everything stuck together, but I need to understand what this picture is supposed to represent. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to write Absalom takes revenge on Amnon. Because that's what's happening in this story. Absalom is taking revenge on Amnon. And we need to remember that revenge is not right. So Absalom takes revenge on Amnon. And as much as Absalom took revenge on Amnon, we need to remember that we're not supposed to take revenge. Yeah. So right under it, I'm going to write, do not take revenge. In big, bold, capital letters. Do not take revenge. My pen will just stop writing. Cute. Do not take revenge. So we need to always remember that even though Absalom took revenge, he was on the wrong. Yeah. He should not have done that. He should have waited on God so that God could handle the situation. Yes. But instead, he took it into his own hands, and we should never do that. Do not take revenge. Now, this story of Absalom and Amnon and the whole story can be found in the Bible in 2 Samuel chapter 13. So just right here at the bottom, 2 Samuel 13. So that you always remember that this is where we can find the story. Yeah. We should never take revenge, and we should always listen to our parents when they correct us, because they're just doing it for our own good. And it's important for us to listen to them and to not be angry about it or anything like that.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that God is the one that revenges for us as the children of God, as Christians. God is the only one who's supposed to revenge for us. So if anything happens, just leave it to God.
Exactly.
So that's our lesson today. That's our craft today. Until next time, bye.